wakes you up a little bit more. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just gonna bring him right up to the stage, and then I'm gonna come out to you guys. I might ask a question, but I'm sure you got questions for him. So put your hands up. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jay himself, Jason Mewes!
Hello! Oh! I didn't know we had one of these. I love to fuck Berserker. I fart on my friend Trademark Berserker. Snooch to the douche! Sorry, I always have to do that, sorry. Thanks guys, I know Jeff and Brian are coming up, so you guys will get to hear a lot of silly things from them, but I came up first because I don't like to share the stage, except for with Kevin, of course. But you guys can ask anything you want. I'm gonna stay here, I guess I'm here like 20 minutes, and then Brian and Jeff will come. And then I'll probably take off because they're goofy. You know what, I haven't been on stage with Jeff, honestly, in quite some time, so it might be fun to ask him some stuff, because I'm curious what he's been doing for the past, when was Clerks 2 shot? 2006, so I don't think I had seen Jeff Anderson, guys, I know I had seen him, I seen him a couple times brief, but I don't think I hung out with him and spending time with him, and even now on Clerks 3, for anyone that doesn't know, I just came from Jersey, we just got done filming Clerks 3 last week. But Jeff worked a whole bunch. Him and Brian, of course, Dante Randall, were in a ton of scenes. So even when we were on set, I got to hang out with them and chat a little bit. But I didn't get to ask deep personal questions. So I don't know, I might stick around and ask Jeff some deep shit. I'm like, yo, how often do you and your lady fucking romp, son? But anyway, besides that, I'm here to answer any questions you have for me right now. Before I forget, because I always forget to promote myself. I've been streaming a bunch on Twitch. If you guys don't know that, it's twitch.tv/Jay Mewes. If you're like, what the hell is Twitch? It's this thing where you stream live and I chat and hang out, play games. Sometimes I teabag myself or something, I don't know. But yeah, check it out if you get a chance. But who has a question for me? You don't. This guy first. Sorry.
I do have the one real quick because now you got me kind of one.
Please ask me.
You got me kind of wanting to fuck with her a little bit. So, give me your definition of a Dutch rudder.
Ooh, Dutch rudder. Dutch rudder. I wish I came up with it. People ask me over the years what a Dutch rudder, if I came up with it, and I wish I had, but I haven't. So I don't know if I can explain it so you guys can understand. Let's see. So the best way to do it is to really show it, but it's when I take my hand and I put it on my privates or the other, and then the other person does that. I have to show it. Yeah, Trademark, come up here for a minute, sorry. So this is my buddy Trademark. He's actually a moderator and friend from my stream, my Twitch. So, you know what it is, right? All right, I'll just show it to you. So this way you're not really touching the other person's jerking you off or not. And I guess you could do it with females, two females, or you can do the double Dutch rudder, which is something else, and then there's the double Dutch fudge rudder, which is you put your hand in your bum piece and all sorts of stuff. But this is all Kevin's crazy ideas, not mine. Sure it is. I don't know if there's kids in here. You know Green Cat's here, little man. Is he here right now? I don't know if he's here, but Green Cat's another. So it's really awesome. On my stream, I got 2 kids that are like 11 years old, and it blows me away because I think about people who watch our movies, my movies, whatever, are usually like in their 25 up to 35, 45. what have you. But there's two 11-year-olds that play Fortnite and stuff with me. Anyway, one of them's here, and I got to meet him in person, him and his parents. So, okay, what's your question, movies?
Hello.
Hello, young man.
Speaking of which, love Zack and Miri. It was a really great movie, and you were awesome in it.
Thank you.
But I wanted to ask you about your movie that you directed a couple years ago.
Yes.
I'd like to know what prompted you to make the movie.
Thank you.
How difficult was it for you to do it as your first directing job? And what'd you get out of it?
All right, so if anyone doesn't know, I got to direct my own movie years back called Madness in the Method. So it was awesome. I went out to London and did a movie with a gentleman named Dominic Burns. He was producing this movie, Devil's Tower. I got to play this character. I was like three scenes or something in this movie. And while I was there, he was like, "Hey, what do you want to do? What's a movie you want to do, or something you want to do that you've never got to do?" And I said, "Man, I've been always wanting to play sort of like a Hannibal Lecter character, or American Psycho, or some serious role where I got to play like some sick, serial killer, murderer, or whatever." So, and I said, I also been really wanting to direct. I got to direct a music video at that point and a PSA, and I enjoyed it so much. So he was like, "Oh, that's awesome." He goes, "I'm gonna write you something." And I was like, "All right, whatever," because I just thought he was just sort of saying it. And like 4 or 5 months later, he's like, "Bro, I wrote the script. After our conversation, I hope you don't mind. What do you think?" So he sent me the script, and the script was good. But I was like, "Man, this is really good, but I feel like it should be more really me, Jay Muse, like a multi-universe Jay Muse." And so he like tweaked it, he rewrote it, and like put some different things in it. He sent it back to me, and I said, "Oh, that's awesome, but how about this, this, and this?" So I didn't necessarily write it, but I gave him my feedback and my ideas. Excuse me. And so he just kept tweaking it, and then he's like, "Dude," we got it to a point where we really liked it. And I was like, "This is awesome. I'd love to direct this." He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "I don't know if someone's going to give us, $1 million or whatever we need to do it when you've never directed it." And that's the thing about the movie business. It's like, acting, directing, whatever. It's like, if you don't have, it's weird because you got to get your foot in the door, but it's hard to get your foot in the door because if you don't have any experience, no one's not going to be like, "Hey, you've never directed a movie before, Trey-Mock, but here's $2 million, go make a movie," because they have to risk that $2 million. So anyway, he was like, "I'll see what I can do." I didn't hear from him for like 5 months, so I just thought nothing happened. We weren't gonna make the movie, and I just didn't hear from him, and then I totally almost forgot about it. And he emailed me, he goes, "Hey, give me a call." And I called him, and he's like, "Hey man, I got these guys, they're willing to give you the money, and they're gonna let you direct it." So that's sort of how the movie, nothing super exciting and crazy, but that's sort of how it came about. And if you guys get a chance, we sell it on our website, Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, our comic book store. And yeah, it was awesome, man. I had so much fun. Not only that, man, it was so nice when I started reaching out. Well, we didn't have a lot of money, even though $1 million is a lot of money. When it comes to making movies, it's not a lot of money to go pay people, because you got to put people up in hotels and fly them places and feed them and all that stuff. So we started reaching out to people, and I was like, "Oh man, this person's not going to do it because we can't offer them 200 grand their normal fee maybe or what have you." But it was really cool, man. Like when we reached out to Pete Kane and Terry Hatcher, they're like, "Oh my gosh, Jay Muse is directing his first movie. We're totally down to support that." We got Vinnie Jones, Danny Trejo, Kevin Smith, Stan Lee did a cameo in it. We had a lot of really cool people who were part of the movie, and they didn't get paid a whole lot. They just did it because they were like, "Wow, Jay Muse is directing his first feature, and we want to be part of this, this art, if you will." So there you have it. That's how I do it, and I enjoyed it very much. I would, if I ever get to direct again, which I really want to do. If I get to direct again, I definitely, Brian O'Halloran was in it too. I got to make sure I mention that. He was so good too, man. I really thought, like, when you see the movie, like he gave his A+, I sort of beat him to death in the movie, and it was fun. But but he was so good. He was so good. But I'm hoping to direct again because I dug it. But if I do direct again, I wouldn't direct and be in so much of the movie. I want to just be sprinkled in a little bit, maybe. So, but yeah, guys, check it out if you get a chance. It's out there on the stash. There you go. You tell me, young man, what's up? All right. My what? Oh, my sobriety account. I thought you said, what's my right to account? I'm like, wait, what is this? That's just some profound shit. My sobriety account. So July 2nd, that just passed, was 11 years. In July, August, September. Thank you. So yeah, it's like 11 years, 2 months, and like 8 days or so. So thank you for asking. Yeah. Appreciate it.
How's your Lego
Ooh.
collection?
I dig it, man. So if anyone doesn't know, I'm a huge fan of Legos. I have way too many Legos. You know what? I'm running out of space, honestly. And I really want so many more, but I have nowhere to put them. But also the problem is my kid, I have a 6-year-old, and she loves my Legos. Like she loves my Ghostbusters firehouse that I built. The Disney castle, you know, they have a Lego Disney castle. I'm sure a lot of you guys seen it. I build these and then me and her play with them. And she always like reaches in and like knocks something over, you know? And I can't get upset about it because I'm enjoying playing with her and she's enjoying the Legos. But that's happened a lot. So like the Ghostbuster house fell over and I was like, all right, that's gotta go here. I'll put it together later. And then I never do. And then, so I have literally like those big black Tupperware bins with the yellow tops. I know you've probably seen them. I literally have like 4 or 5 of them filled with busted up Legos. And then my muse cave, if you will, I just have them like set up all over my Death Star and in Ninjago City. I really want, my wife's also getting mad because if you guys don't know, like the bigger sets are like $300 to $400. I really want Diagon Alley, which is $400 if you're lucky. There's the Daily Bugle. They just came out with 25 minifigs. That's like $300. They have Cloud City, which is $300. So, you know, after like, you know, 3 months of me buying $300 Lego here, a $300 Lego there, the wife's like, really? She doesn't get it, you know? She's like, well, we could be saving for something else. And I'm like, okay, but I just need one more. So I haven't bought anything big in a while, but I do want to, the next one I want to get is probably Diagon Alley. I've been buying a lot of just came out with the Sesame Street one, which I got. They came out with Winnie the Pooh, which I got. The littler ones like that I've been getting. Because also when I travel, I go to Target and I buy one because I like to build them at night when I'm in my room and shit. I get butt naked and I just sit there and build them. Sorry, there's a lot of kids here, I realize, but I get butt naked, booty butt naked. Yo, I get that booty butt naked. Sorry, any other questions?
Got one over here.
There.
Hey man, long time fan, watched Clerks when I was like 3, 4 years old. It's too young to see it. We've always seen Jay and Silent Bob kind of pissing everybody off, pissing Dante, Randall off, everybody within a 10-mile radius. We've never seen them in a home where they live. Like in the Clerks comic, one of the Jay and Silent Bob comic books, they lived with Trish, I think, for a bit. They got thrown out because, you know. Do they have a legitimate home, or are they just kind of, do they just kind of just fuck off?
It's interesting. You're right. I never thought. They've never shown. It never show us in any home. We hang out in front of the store, and we've owned businesses. So I would think, I would think we stay in some of our businesses. Like, in the last one, I think we bought So like this next one, we own a place. I'm trying to think reboot. What do we damn all the movies I'm trying to think of. If it explains, it really doesn't explain. We're just nomads, maybe. That nomads? But we just roam. I think that I would say we probably rent hotels. Because remember, I think we got some money, I think. Most of we got our movie check, and then and then we flew around and beating the kids up on Strikes Back. So I'm thinking when we traveled beating the kids up, we probably stayed at the Ritz-Carlton, maybe the Sheraton, I don't know. So yeah, I would say we stay at a lot of hotels. I wish Kevin was here. That would be a really good question for Kevin, because of course the idea of the story and stuff is all in Kevin's brain. So I'm gonna ask him that. That's a really good question. I don't know if anyone's ever asked that. You just made my day, son. And I really like your shirt too. I agree with that. I like it. You, sir.
Hi, long-time fan.
Thank you.
I really like the Clerks animated series. So, is Leonardo ever gonna come back?
You know what? I don't think we're allowed to. Kevin and I were just talking about that because, Kevin had, so the script we just shot, Clerks 3, is a new script. Kevin redid the script. Kevin had a script of Clerks 3 from 4 years ago or so. And I loved it so much. Again, I love this one a lot. And there's some things that, again, it's interesting because, even in years, 4 years, 5 years, I don't know how many years it's been, things change. So it's wow, this one, we couldn't get away with this now. Just like if you go back and watch, we were going back watching Strikes Back, and some of the things Jay says are Clerks, the first Clerks. Some of the things I said in that, you couldn't get away with now. People would be really offended and mad and stuff. So we couldn't use everything in that, but there was some stuff in that I liked so much, and I'm like, bro, we should make that as a TV show or even an animated movie. Just take out these pieces that wouldn't work necessarily and change it a little bit. Excuse me. So I don't know, I just blanked out on what your question was. Holy shit. What did you ask me again? Leonardo, thank you. I got into the animation, I got so excited about it. Because I'm thinking about the Clerks animated, sorry. So, exactly, I know, and it's something different, but I'm just saying, I think that'd be great. But we had talked about it when I was talking about we should make the old Clerks script an animated movie or show. And I say, because I know everyone liked the Clerks animated, that people that watched it on DVD, I said, or we should do another Clerks animated. But I do know that, the thing is we don't own the rights. Kevin doesn't own the rights to that. The actual cartoon and those characters, Leonardo, and some of those people in there. So we could do another Clerks cartoon or movie, but we just wouldn't be able to use any of the characters from the original because we don't own the rights, which is such a bummer. And I didn't really get that, for years. I didn't get it for years because, even the first Clerks, we had to get the rights to do Clerks 2. We had to get the rights to do Clerks 3, and you had to ask this person. It's so crazy how it works. Even though Kevin created it all, it's if someone gives you money to make it, all of a sudden they own it, and it's all that. But, so no, I don't imagine we'll ever get to do Leonardo. Hopefully we'll get to do a Clerks animated, but I believe some of the cool characters from the original, we won't be in it unless somehow we get the rights, which I believe we tried to a year or 2 years ago, and we were having trouble getting it because, again, it's weird because Miramax owned it, but when Miramax got bought by this company and this company got sold to this company and all this stuff, so it's all over the place. So we'll see. Eventually, hopefully, we do something similar because it was way before its time, I think. I think if we put that out now, it would totally work. And, I just think it was Sharks, we only got to do 3 episodes. We did 6, but they only showed 3. Yeah, it's a bummer, man. But hopefully eventually, because I would love to do, that was fun too. We would all sit in a room and we would just like read through it and stuff. Like we just sit at a table and it's, you know, I wear pajamas. Sometimes I just come in my G-string underpants and shit. But I don't know, hopefully down the road. But I don't think we'll get to see Leonardo again. If you guys haven't checked out the animated, I know it's on DVD now. You guys definitely should check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's way better than Rick and Morty. No, I'm just kidding. Nooch.
So Kevin tells a story on one of his evenings, Kevin Smith, about you being a background extra porno. I was wondering, is that a true story? And two, if it is true, how's that not been unearthed?
I took a lot of time hiding that, my friend. No. You know, it's one of those things that when I was really messed up, I feel like I might have done that, and Kevin and I discussed it. I know I was on the set of a porno. I met this dude, and he invited me to set. I believe he might have said, hey, we're filming this scene. You can be in the background, because you're here. And I might have been in scene thing, but I don't know if I was, and that's why I don't think it was out there, because I feel like someone would have found it by now. I think someone would have found it and been like, look at, there's Muse. Because even if I was in it, and I can't remember, there was definitely a few years where honestly I was such a mess, roaming around trying to make sure I wasn't sick, dope sick and stuff from the drugs, that it's a blank. But I know I was on a porn set. I don't remember if I actually was in view of the camera, but if I was, I know for a fact, I remember enough that I wasn't naked or anything. I think it was like a court scene, and it was like, you know, the judge and the lawyers were the porns, and then like there was a couple of people in the seats in the background. So I think I might have been in the back of that, but it probably didn't make the cut because who wants to see the guy sitting in a chair? They want to see the judge be like, oh, I roll anal. So, guys, now the real stars of the show have come to the stage. Welcome to the stage, Jeff Henderson, Brian O'Halloran, weighing in at 300 pounds with a 2-inch penis, Brian O'Halloran. Wait, that doesn't seem you at all, does it?
Notice he didn't say shit about my penis.
Explaining to them, Jeff, I'm gonna take off in a second, this is your show. But I realized, I told them that, you know, in between the movies, Brian and I see each other all the time. And we talk a lot, so I sort of know what's going on. And Brian's like, but I said, I realized I don't really know what you've done. What have you been doing? I'm asking this. I'll start it off. I was saying I don't really know what you've been up to in the past 5 years. Like, what have you, or whatever years it's been since you and I have spent a little time together. I know one thing he's been doing while we fix his mic. It's awesome. He lives up in the woods in this house in the woods, deep in the woods, so deep that he's shown us, me and Kevin, a bunch of cool pictures of bears like in his front yard, which blows me away every time he mentions it. He's like, there's been another bear in my front yard, which I think is really cool and scary, but really cool.
So for 5 years I've been bear wrestling.
Exactly.
I've almost got it down to science. Yeah, no, that's it, man. I live in the woods, man. I think when we went to the Zack and Miri premiere, I spent the morning chopping wood. I think I was the only person that had chopped wood that morning. And by the way, chopping wood is not code for anything. I was literally chopping wood.
I was just going to ask if that was a euphemism.
Yeah, exactly.
We got our first question down here.
You guys, I'm gonna let these guys go. You heard enough of me. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Kingston News, everybody. Give me a holler.
190 pounds with a 12-inch penis.
You finally introduced me.
Oh, it's funny when he has.
Wait a minute, do we have the first question introduction coming.
How do
Let's
I
just get
follow?
this fucking out of the way, all right? Fuck, I'm old now.
For a second, I thought you were shaking out your 12-inch penis for that. I was like, what? Let's get this unzipped. Here we go, people. Here you have it.
These guys didn't pay enough for that.
Rooker nearly did.
This is not a penis question. I hope that's okay.
Thank you.
First off, I'm one of those VHS college kids that watch this movie 1,000 times, so to talk to you guys is just thanks for reminding me. But my question's actually for you, Jeff. I remember the DVD extras stuff. You were very hesitant about Clerks 2. Like, you weren't super on board, and you guys knocked it out of the park. What is it like now? Were you hesitant again to come back to this role for Clerks 3, or were you all in?
I'm always hesitant to come back. It takes a lot to lure me out of the woods.
Just in the back room, come in the back hall. It's like, should we really be doing this? I'm like, sir, you're here. You got to do the show.
We finished filming Clerks 3 10 days ago, and I'm still on the fence about it. Yeah, no, as far as Clerks 2 goes, I think like the original Clerks like took off. It just got a life of its own, and I just didn't want to ruin it. Like, to me, it felt like Clerks was Clerks, and I was scared about doing something that was gonna, take away the coolness or whatever it was. So I was hesitant. And as a matter of fact, Kevin tells us, I wasn't on board until like 4 days into filming. It was so weird, like going to the movies. It was so bright and colorful. It was like such an opposite thing of that dreary Clerks. So literally, we were there 4 days, and I kept going to Kevin. I'm not sure about this. And he edits as he goes, and he showed me some of the footage. It was actually Brian and Rosario's first scene, and I was like, all right, maybe this is going somewhere. So I'm happy I did it. Clerks 3 took a little convincing. It took a while.
A little bit.
My question is for you also, Jeff. I'm really glad that you came to do this because for the longest time they said that you were holding out.
Yeah, isn't that always?
That you were holding out and wasn't
That's my
interested.
agent calling. He wants to vet your question.
It wasn't interested in it. It's really awesome. Always wanted to meet you. Always wanted to be here. But my question for you is actually from a movie that you've done.
My new favorite guy.
And
Please talk to me about
You-
how you know available somewhere.
the prank that you pulled off in that movie, I have done on one of them. And I was just curious if it was one of your original ideas. I went into their house while they rearranged all their furniture, moved all their spoons and such, all their drawers everywhere, so they couldn't find anything. But the worst thing that got them was I switched all their HDMIs so everything was in a different place than it originally was.
So
You're gonna write my next movie.
So now, just to complete the picture, the person calling was your parole officer?
Yeah. Interesting story. That person is now a police officer that had done this.
Oh, well, yeah. You were his first case.
I love that prank, and like I said, once I done it, the response was hilarious. I just wondered where that idea came from, or if you'd ever done it before.
No, actually, I think I saw that on the news somewhere, and I thought it was hilarious. So I think that's what it was. I saw it on the news, and was like, look at that.
If you ever do it, it has a great.
I've never done it.
Can we have that microphone swab for fingerprints? Just want to make sure when I get back to my hotel room.
You notice I took a look down.
I did. I
Ankle
noticed that.
monitor on.
Oh, that's who the guy had. Someone had that.
I saw him trying to hack that thing off.
Who do we got next?
Got one back here.
There you go.
Hi guys.
Hey.
I'm a huge fan of you both. I kind of have a two-parter question. First one is I know Kevin had a bit of a health scare not too long ago. Do you happen to know how he's doing?
Well, we filmed a whole movie with him for 5 weeks, and it seemed pretty good. He's really lost quite a bit of weight. His daughter has gotten him to this vegan kind of diet, and it's helped him incredibly. And he's been doing this exercise that he was doing on set all day. Let me show you what it was. What was this? Anytime we were waiting for a setting up of a shot, he was just doing this. I was like, Have you been watching like a ton of the Fresh Prince or something? You're trying to do the Carlton or something? What's going on?
He was sweating to the oldies.
He totally was. More like oldie who's sweating.
Well, that's good to hear. Thank you. And then my other part question, I'm not sure if you'll know this answer or not, but do you happen to know if Kevin is still planning on making Moose Jaws?
Oh, that's a Canadian question. Don't know, because there's the Moose Jaws cartoon coming back. Hey, we doing Mallrats too? Hey, there's a lot of projects that I think what happens is he takes his herbal medicine every once in a while, and he has what I call like, diarrhea of the mouth, where all of a sudden he's like, you're gonna do this! And I'm like, well, wait until we get money and signings up before we do that. So we're hoping once Clerks 3 comes out, which is hopefully the first quarter of next year, that y'all go with like 20 friends, like 10 times at the theater, so that people in Hollywood go like, all right, people like Kevin Smith movies, we should fund his next project, which will probably either be Moose Jaws or Mallrats 2. I personally, Jeff, we all would love to do the cartoon again. That's something that we think is ripe for the taking. Because when we get to the point where we physically look horrible in person, which is maybe in 10 days, we should be able to still have our voices to do cartoons. So we'll see.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna move to Mars so he can't do Clerks 4. The woods aren't far enough.
We got one over here.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Are you guys gonna be in Masters of the Universe Revelations?
Oh, we're staying away from that fucking thing. You crazy? After what the internet's been doing to that? Meanwhile, it's not even halfway done and people are like, you suck, Kevin Smith. You ruined my childhood, Kevin Smith. Oh, Kevin Smith, why? I'm like, you realize that? Of course, there are people who do love it, which is so funny.
Hey, the one guy.
But yeah. Look, we would love to do voices in that as well. As you know, Jay, isn't it a stink fist or fucking stinky whore, whatever the fuck it is. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of the series. It depends. And it depends on what Kevin feels. Like, Kevin feels like, yo, man, if I'm not getting the love, why am I going to put it in the work kind of thing? But he loves doing it, and knowing what the next 5 or 6 episodes that are left to be released, it's going to end in a way where people are like, we're so wrong, we're so sorry, Kevin. And then the hashtag, we're sorry, Kevin, is probably going to trend after that.
He's busy rewriting it.
Well, that's what everybody thinks. Meanwhile, the scripts have been written months and months ago.
Hey, gentlemen, thanks so much for making the trip out to Cincinnati. We all really appreciate it. I just was curious if you both got to see Shooting Clerks. I got to see a screening of it a few years ago in Jersey. Just wondering if you both got to check it out and what you thought of it. If it's anywhere close to it, it's a narrative feature about the making of Clerks. I enjoyed it, but just curious to see your take on it.
I hope I saw it. I'm an associate producer of it. Yeah, I've seen it a few times. And the guys who are really great fans, because we have a huge fan base in Scotland apparently, decided to make this making of a documentary kind of, biopic of Kevin making the original Clerks. So it's called Shooting Clerks. They're in the final phases of distribution and locking up contracts to eventually getting out on certain streaming services and then eventually on a DVD, I'm sure. Yeah, it's fun. And when Kevin had a screening of it in his hometown theater in Atlantic Islands, he was crying. His mom was with him, his sister was with him and stuff, and it was a huge screening. They actually showed it on one of the last episodes of Comic Book Man, the reaction of him watching it. So it's fun, and I'm the same way. I'm like, when is this fucking thing coming out, man? Because they keep finding other people involved in the film and wanting to do an interview with them. So it's like, okay, eventually you got to close the door of the interviews if people want to see it, because there's only so much time that people are going to be interested in it. But now that there's a Clerks 3 coming out, it's good that they waited. Now people are like, what else did they do? And then there are people in this audience like, who the fuck are Clerks? What the hell is this bullshit? When's Rooker coming on? That kind of thing. So I hope that people thank you for seeing it, and it hopefully should be released within the next couple months.
Awesome, thanks so much.
And I never saw it because I was in the first one and I remember Shooting Clerks. I don't have to see a movie.
Cool, man. Thanks so much, gentlemen.
Somebody up here. Cool, I'm gonna have a seat now.
There you go.
Any chance we'll see a Randall's Tuesday, Jack?
Actually, that's funny. I just got an email from the guys who want to make Randall's Monday too. That's what I said. Wouldn't it be Randall's Tuesday? If you don't know, there was a video game, Randall's Monday, and it has nothing to do with Clerks. I guess I can only play people named Randall.
Yes, this question for Jeff. Are we ever going to see any comeback catchphrases?
We are for sure. You want to hear about 20 of them? Let's fucking talk about Clerks 3. Enough with this secrecy. Jay and Bob get married.
There you go, people. It went woke.
Elias is the best man.
And yes, it was a Star Wars wedding. And I am not the bitch this time.
Thank you.
I don't know who I felt worse for, the girl or the donkey.
This is a question for both of you now that you mentioned it. You said it was a Star Wars wedding, but were they dressed as stormtroopers?
Oh no, that's the far as the lines will go. Well, I think one of them was Jar Jar though. Yeah, you figure out who was the Jar Jar in that fucking. Out of Jay and Silent Bob, who is fucking Jar Jar? Let's be honest.
Which one would get more hate, Kevin or Jay? It's probably the one that
Who would get more what?
No, like I'm just saying, the one that gets more hate, Kevin.
The one who gets more hate, or the one who won't shut the fuck up? There you go. That's all I can say now.
All right.
Great shirt, by the way. His shirt says "Murder all pedophiles," by the way.
Read the back.
What's it? Dead pedophiles don't re-offend. All right, there we go.
That's a whole fact. So I have a question for each of you. So Jeff, settle the score. Star Wars
What's
or
going-
Lord of the Rings?
I fucking love Lord of the Rings. Totally kidding. Star Wars, man, come on.
All right. I just wanted to figure out
Oh
what
shit, the Lord of the Rings clap, it was louder.
And Brian, what was it like to star with Jay in a semi-serious role in Madness and the Method?
So Jay Mewes had his first movie that he directed and co-wrote called Madness and the Method. It was great. It was a lot of fun seeing him on that side of the camera and also making decisions that affect what's going on. And he took to that role really great. He had a great first AD and producer on board who are really good at keeping everything the way it should be. And we shot on, 2 continents. He shot scenes in LA with a lot of people, and then he shot a majority of the film in England, up in Derby, England, which is just north of Birmingham, England. And so I was doing another film at the time when they wanted to shoot me for his stuff in LA, and I couldn't make it. And they were like, oh, well, we won't be back. We'll be back in England in February. Would you mind going to England? And I, what? Sure. Because I also have relatives in London and I have relatives in Birmingham. So I was like, absolutely. So I made it like a big 2-week vacation for me. Spent the 5 or 7 days filming for him. And it was fun. It was really, really a great time. The people of England and the crews, the film crews over there are really on the ball with everything. And I look forward to working with Jay on anything he's ever done because he's really grown into knowing what he wants in the frame and knowing what he wants out of his actors. And I'm not going to spoil the movie, but there's a big finale scene with me and Jay in that movie that's worth watching alone. So I think it's fun to watch. So if you get a chance, I don't know if it's still on Apple, iTunes, and it's on Amazon Prime still. Yeah, it's called Madness and the Method, and it's got like Danny Trejo, and Vinnie Jones, and Dean Cain, and a whole bunch of great cameos. It's literally like, hey, let's take everybody on the con autograph floor and make a fucking movie. It's pretty much what showed up. And I believe it's the last appearance of Stan Lee in the film too. So there you go.
So the last panel asked or wanted to know how about and directing his first movie. So I just wanted to question Jeff how you know was amazing and you did very well directing and
Brian and you were the only ones that saw it.
I'll show it.
trick me into saying shit about Clerks 3. I'm on to you. I think this one, the only way I would do it is if Randall had 4 girls fighting for him. So, yeah.
To make it up for it. And if you weren't listening earlier, there is a wedding that was earlier mentioned of Jar Jar Binks and stuff, so just saying. He's got a whole bunch of those, you know, dancers from Jabba's fucking club. That he's like, ooh. The growth of those characters over these, you know, almost 30 years by the time the film comes out, you see it. It's evident, and the growth of relationships that both Randall and Dante have towards each other, as well as their, you know, significant others in their world, will be really great. For fans who've never seen one Clerk at all movie, or even the cartoon or anything, I think this will easily, it stands on its own, but it's also a great kind of, wow, they've actually made now a true Jersey trilogy. So we'll leave it up to you guys when it comes to the first quarter, but me and him are very excited about what you guys will think, and hopefully, you know, we won't have any type of, you ruined my childhood! You know, so we'll see.
Big fans of you guys for years. I grew up watching. This is
That was you outside my window.
Fuck, sorry. I'm asking.
No, it was me.
This is for Brian. Do you have any really good memories about Boulder? Because a lot of people don't like it. I thought it was the best work. And I mean, Muse is in it, and you know, I just didn't know if you had any good memories from it.
So he's talking about a movie called Vulgar, written and directed, co-starred by Brian Johnson. A really, really dark comedy about a guy who's a party clown for kids, not making enough money to support himself. He also has a mother who's living in an assisted living facility that has a co-payment that has to be made. So he comes up with this idea about being a party clown for adults called Vulgar the Clown. His first gig goes horribly wrong, and the rest of the movie entails the consequences of that horrible wrong incident and where it goes from that. It is a dark and twisted movie. It's perfect for a horror film fan to watch. It's not like a first date movie. It's not the, hey, we've just had so much turkey at Thanksgiving. Hey, Grandpa, let me show you this movie. It's not that at all. But I'm very proud of that work. I just saw Brian Johnson, who was, Kevin had put out the photo of all of us on the roof playing hockey at Clerks 3, and Brian Johnson being part of the team. Just talked to him on that 112-degree day on the roof, and he said, if I remember to all the fucking sunstroke I was getting that day, that he is working on a Vulgar 2. Yeah, and it's, yeah, thank you. It's a dark and twisted script, but in a very different angle than the first one. And by the way, I do have copies of that for sale at my table, so if you're interested, I have the unrated version at my table.
Hi fellas, big fan. Just curious, Kevin normally for his films, he's been taking everything out on a road show. Would you guys be interested if Clerks 3 goes on a road show? Does that mean we will see you guys there as well as Kevin and Jay?
Yeah, I think that is the plan, to do a road tour with it, and I think Brian and I are gonna go along.
Yeah, it's a wide release with also, somebody was mentioning between 25 and 30 cities on the road show, which would be great. You know, we'll go out, Kevin will do the Q&A, and 4 hours later we'll come in and say, thank you for coming, and then we'll sit down.
It's going to have to be like an all-day thing, that way Kevin can do his thing, and then you guys get a couple hours at the end.
Yeah, we're just going to have fans get on the same flight as us to the next city, so Kevin can finish his Q&A, and then we all just depart our separate ways in the baggage claim.
My question is for both of you. Not really a question, but really an appreciation. One of my favorite scenes you guys did in Clerks movies was the jail scene in Clerks 2. You guys really let it all out of each other. As honest and as fair as you possibly could without your fellas. And I thought that was just simply amazing acting by both of you guys. Especially
That's all Jeff on that one, people.
That was totally amazing. But I'd like to hear, girls talk about doing that scene
started as a shit gun, and by the day we shot, it was a shit cannon. But yeah, no, putting in cake batter, that's what that was. Kevin threw a can of corn in for good measure. But that scene, the jail scene, we rehearse this stuff, we sit down and we read the script, and I'm not an actor, so I knew I couldn't bring any emotion to it, so we never rehearsed that scene until that night. That was the first time we ever did that scene.
We rehearsed it. We went once through it just for blocking and camera purposes, and then Jeff was like, "We're good. We're gonna. I'll wait until we're ready to shoot, and then I'll give you what I can give you, and then we'll go from there." And literally the one take, and that's the performance.
All right, guys, we've got time for one more question down here.
Poor cousin Walter. There's a whole movie coming out about cousin Walter. It's gonna be real short.
All right, guys, so that was all the time that we have. One more time, let's hear it for Brian Howard. Give him a big send off, Horrorhound. Thank you for having us. We'll be going back to our table, but make sure you give a big round of applause for Mr. Rooker himself, Mr. Svenning himself coming up here. If you want to stick around and barrage him about mall rat stuff, you're in the perfect room for it. Thank you, guys.